Okay, so is anybody here? Can anybody hear me? Anybody? Is anybody here? Oops. Trying to pull this up on my phone so I can maybe see comments too. I'm not very tech savvy. Hello, Amanda. Okay, good. I can hear somebody or see somebody. Now I have a delay on my phone. Not very tech savvy. Hello, Amanda. Okay, good. I can hear somebody. See somebody. Joyce, this is the Storyboard Tumbler or snow globe that everybody has been talking about. I'm going to turn my volume down though, so that I didn't know if I should tag everyone who said that they like the idea of it or not. So I've made a few storyboards and I have figured out a few things to do or not to do. So I figured I would jump on and share and show anybody. This is how I do it. This is not, you find your own way to go ahead and do it. So some of the things that I use when I'm doing this is I get the clear silicone that's good for windows and doors and basically to protect against mold. It's supposed to be weatherproof. I just got mine at Walmart, so that is what I use to seal and glue the cup around all the edges. You can use aquarium glue. I know some people are using them, but I haven't used any aquarium glue. So, hey Layla, that's such a beautiful name. Did I say it right? So, I'm a little nervous, so I'll probably say so a lot and whatnot. But I've got my camera so I can turn it downward and position it. So, hush. That's my dog barking in the background. She's mad because she's not here in the kitchen with me. So we'll get started. And if anyone has any questions, I got my phone over here. And I will try and do this. I want to do this in one whole step. Not so that you have 4 or 5 different videos to go back to. So I've made a couple cups in stages so that you can see what to do. So when you get your cup, it comes in this nice little box. And let's see, the sealant you're using, 100% non-toxic once cured. The sealant does not have any kind of FDA approval or not. So that's why some people I think are going with the aquarium glue. My thinking is that unless they break the cup, they're never going to get near it. So you're going to take your cup out of the box and it's bubble wrapped. And this is, that's my, go away, this is my cat. This is Fiona. She wants to say hello, but now she's getting down. And you take it out of the plastic. And I put this aside because this is what you get. And there's paper here on the inside. So you just take your lid off, like that, obviously. And this bottom here unscrews. You just unscrew the butt. And you set that aside. And now this part here is just going to, it just pops out. You just gotta press on the bottom and it'll pop right out. And I take my papers and I save them for my grandson. He likes to color and draw when he comes over. And then I take this and I put it back in the plastic. And I save it because if it rolls on the table or if you have a curious cat like I have, it's going to roll everywhere. So that's really step one. And then you're going to prep your cup like you normally would just prep a cup. Sand it, wash it, rub it down, all of that. Everybody with me so far? Now let me get my butt, put it back in here. I don't want to do it that way. Okay. So, and then you'll decorate your cup. You'll put it on the turner. And this is a cup that I decorated. I epoxied it and I put the glitter on. When you look at the cup, you're going to see that there's these grooves all around the edge. I take my epoxy and I go all the way up into it as far as I can. And you can take a popsicle stick and kind of just make sure that it's not clumpy or lumpy and nothing is around this edge here. Because that cup, this plastic part, is going to go back on top of it. So this was my attempt at an opal. And it's going to be a unicorn cup for a friend. So once that's all done, then you're going to take your next step. You take this little guy back out of the plastic. And again, this is just how I do it. I am not the most organized person in the world, so the more I can stay on top of things, the better for me. So now I'm going to move you down towards the table so you can see. What kind of epoxy? I use Pro Marine. Is it FX? And I just put a nice thin layer. And if you're chunky, if you're using chunky glitter, you want to make sure that you pat it down really good so it's smooth, because you don't have a lot of room between this and this once it goes down, because you want this to be able to fit back inside like that. And I'll show you that when we get that far. So you don't have to paint the cup if you don't want to, but I mean, obviously we're in the business of decorating cups, so you're going to decorate it somehow, some way. So, any other questions so far? Okay, so now I'm going to move you down so you stop looking at me and you can see this area here, the workspace. So around this lip here, you're going to go unscrew it. And this can get kind of, gotta give it a really good squeeze. And you're going to go all the way around the base of this cup here. And you're going to squeeze all your silicone or your aquarium glue, whatever you use, you're going to squeeze that in here. And you're going to use more than you think you need. So don't worry if you think you're using too much, because you can always wipe it off, the excess. I've got baby wipes with me. Or you can use Clorox wipes, whatever. And you're going to go all the way around it. And of course, I made a mess. But it's easy to clean up. Just take it. And just wipe off the excess. Easy peasy. And it's all shiny again. Now, here's one thing that I do, and again, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I take my popsicle stick and I make sure that it gets down in there really good, and I'm pushing it all in there, And I make sure that it's also going around any epoxy that I had put in place. The idea is that you don't want the water to get underneath your epoxy. Obviously, it'll start to lift and come off. So this silicone, by pulling it out a little bit, will help. And then I'll go around again with my silicone and fill it in again. This dries clear. It's got a little bit of a smell to it, but it's not too bad. And then you're just going to squeeze it in again and go around and fill it in. Does anybody have any questions so far? These cups are really easy to do. They're really easy. It's just, you got to do it in steps. So if you know it takes you 3 or 4 days to do a cup, you're going to want your time frame to be a little bit longer. And again, I make sure that I got it in there really good. I got plenty of silicone in there because you don't want it to leak. Last thing you want to do is have someone drinking out of the cup and have it leak everywhere. And again, just wipe it off. And you may find whatever works for you is what's best for you. I am not one that can sit there and say, ooh, I'm going to do this, and it usually works the first time. Surprisingly enough, my first time out of the gate, I did not have any leaks. I was very, very shocked. Because I figured if it was going to leak, it's going to leak all down my shirt. Okay. So this is all glued up really good. You put that down. Make sure your fingers aren't clumpy or glumpy with glue. Now, do you see this rim right here? It's kind of clouded over. You want to go ahead and make sure that, you also want to make sure there's no hair or anything on the inside. You want to make sure that this is what you're going to put epoxy on. Or not epoxy, I'm sorry, you're going to put another layer of silicone. So I'm just going to go around this cup right here, like this, with more silicone, and just squeeze it out gently and slowly. If you're somebody who likes to go quick, you may have to not have an extra cup of coffee that morning. Because this is the part that's going to sit inside that metal lip. So it's just going to help you get that extra little bit of seal on there. This will start to get very tacky within 30 minutes. So if you feel like you've made a mistake and you want to go back, you don't have a lot of time to do that. So then, here's the tricky part. You're going to take this little guy and you're slowly going to put it over the top. It's kind of like playing Operation, so that it doesn't scrape the sides. And then you're going to go ahead and get it in here and you're going to push it down. And you're going to have to push it down really hard. Because if you put it in wrong, here, so I kind of put it out of place. If you put it in wrong, you see how there's more on this side than this side? It's going to sit uneven and it's not going to do well. So that's why you're going to want to go ahead and push on it so you get really good snap. When you hear that snap, it is locked in place. And then you're going to have excess silicone. And again, I waste a lot, but I want it done right the first time. So, and I'm over exaggerating so that you can see everything on the video. I did not use quite so much, but it does dry clear. Okay, so that's step one. You're done. So you're gonna set this aside. I let mine sit for like 24 hours. Hi, Yvette. I let it sit. I just set it aside and I don't play with it as much as I want to. You can give it a water test after 30 minutes because it will go ahead and start to cure within 30 minutes of putting it in. And then by using the excess, I don't know how well you can see here. Let me try and get this closer here. Do you see like the little bit of overlapping of the, see how the silicone has kind of come up? Now you know that it's covering your epoxy. So if you can see the glue coming up because it's going to dry clear, you're not going to have to worry about water getting underneath your epoxy and ruining all your hard work. Kaylee, hush. So then you take this and you put it aside. Okay. Move my phone here. So now, after it's cured and you've water tested it, yes, Kimmy, this is the Storyboard Snow Blow, right? I'm doing good here. The Snow Globe Tumbler. The good thing if any of the silicone dries on the plastic here, you can just wipe it right off. Kaylee, shush. Now she's trying to play with the cat. So I did a water test, no leaks, everything was fine, hunky-dory. Then the next step you're gonna do, and you could probably do it the same time as you do this, is you're gonna fill this hole in. Kaylee, shh, lay down. No, Renee, you didn't do wrong. Really, it's whatever you want to go ahead and use. This part of the cup is never going to touch a person's mouth. So, you know, I chose this because it says it wouldn't mold for, you know, mold-free for 10 years. I seriously doubt if anyone has any of these cups within 10 years, I'll be shocked. Maybe they'll be worth lots of money then. But this is the stuff that you use in your bathrooms and your showers, and so. Lisa Marie. It won't hold up over time. Okay. Says, Mom, I don't want to lay down with this cat. Yeah, well, she hates cats, so it's amazing that Kaylee even likes anything. So, but now you're going to take this, and this is this little hole here, and I did it a little bit in advance. You're going to squeeze the heck out of it. You're going to go ahead and squeeze this hole in and cover it all up. Now, another thing I found, and I learned this the hard way. This screw is kind of soldered into the cup. So I have, by fault of my own, I take silicone and I go around the edge here now of this bottom to give it kind of another extra buffer for any kind of liquid. Because if you look inside your cups, you see those puncture marks? So if for some reason your cup is punctured all the way through or just close, you can save it, you know. I did have a cup that came, and after I filled it up, it started leaking out of the bottom of it, and I couldn't figure out why until I lifted up the cup and I saw the drip. That's a manufacturing issue. And Irene was super sweet and apologized tons and tons and tons. And so Since doing this, it doesn't matter because now all of these little things are all completely sealed. So, with that being said, that's all filled up. On the bottom of the cup, what is the button? You get this big up. When you pull your bottom off, you've got this little black thing in here. You have to take that off. Kaylee, leave the cat alone. I am not super strong. There's just a little teeny tiny piece of glue that's holding this metal on. So sometimes you can go ahead and keep turning it and work it. And you hear that? You hear that? You can get it to go ahead and pop a little bit. And it'll help it get off. If not, you can pry it off. Just don't eat the screws right there. Something to keep in mind. See, this had hardly any glue at all on the inside of it. Totally clean, just like it had a little spick of glue. So really it popped right out. You're going to want to separate these two pieces. Where did I get the cup from, Caitlin? I got the cup from Irene here. It's Hogg, the stainless steel depot. So, on this little thing, see this little guy? There's a hole here. I made the hole bigger. You're going to want to go ahead and use this later on. I make the hole bigger. I have one of my granddaughter's syringes, and I help fill the liquid. If you've seen other people who've had the storyboards, like maybe their liquid is like this high, it's because when you put this top back on, you still have this much space of fluid to fill in. So, and if anyone sees anyone answering questions, ask questions, please feel free to answer them. So, but you still have this much more liquid because this part is, so when you flip it upside down, all that liquid's going to run in the bottom of it, and then it's going to give you that drop. Now, some people have gone ahead and have sealed the cup on the outside with epoxy too, and have glittered up to here, and that hides the air bubble. So it looks like there's just liquid all the way through. Great idea. If that's what you want to do, fabulous. If you don't, that's fine too. I've used baby oil. Hi, honey. I've used baby oil in these cups. I just got this from Walmart, Parents' Choice. But you can really use glycerin as well, but I do not know the ratio to glycerin and water. Yes, my dog's name is Kaylee. I did epoxy the cup. I epoxied the cup first. So then I tilt it and I just pour my liquid in. So you fill it up, and then because this is going to be a mermaid cup for a friend of mine, her daughter, she loves mermaids. I got these cute little mermaid shells, so I'm going to put these on the inside. Some people don't want to put a whole lot of chunky glitter in. I don't have a problem with it. Where's my tweezers? But they like to stick. They're not always friendly. Whoops. Seashells are flying. Okay. And you could take a popsicle stick too and help get those little guys in there. Some of these are like 2 or 3 of them together. I think just your basic chunky glitter though, you'll have absolutely no troubles at all. See, and they just kind of fall. If 2 or 3 of them stick together though, then they're going to possibly just stick. This is the part that I'm not patient with because I just want it to be one and done. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Stacy. That's good to know. So far, I haven't had a problem with the baby oil. I know some people have. And again, you use what you want to use. This is your cup. You just go around the sides. And you can put in as many mermaids as you want. I have done unicorn heads in them. If you use chunky glitter in it, make sure you pat it down. I said that earlier. Because you don't want any of these little guys to get stuck. Here. And you can put in as many as you want. I just want there to be like a little bit around each side. And if something works better for you and you guys are watching, you're not going to hurt my feelings, chime in. So, we've got seashells. Ariel's going to have her little seashells swimming around. So then, this is where you'll fill it up a little bit more. And then I take my little medicine cup and I'm going to put some baby oil in that. Where's my fan? Everything's backwards on the screen. Let's see. These shells are from Glitzy City. She's got all kinds of colors of shells. So, you've got your little black lid here. You're going to go ahead, let me move this out of the way so you guys can see. You're going to go ahead and take more silicone and you're going to put it all around in here at the bottom. All around these screws here. And I'm going to put it around this edge here as well. Because that's going to give it even more seal. You're going to take this and you're going to go ahead and screw it back on. And again, you're going to use more silicone than you think you're going to need. And you screw it on as tight as you can. And there. Then, and again, cover this up. If you're using silicone, cover it up because it will start to dry out and then it makes it impossible. So then, you see how it looks? It looks like it's full, but it's really not because I have all this space here that's just air. So you will get a big air pocket if you don't add more to it. People have told me also diabetic needles, syringes, work really well. I just make the hole bigger. I haven't had a problem using the hole. Another person I saw, they put another hole on the other side so that when liquid started to come out that hole, they knew that this whole top area was full. This is where it gets really messy for me because I'm not super neat. And I prepped really well for the video so that you guys didn't think I'm a pig. And go, gosh, I don't want to listen to her advice. So you just pull out your oil, put it on top, and you squirt it in. And I tested this beforehand to make sure that it would fill up. And then this is the boring part. And I have where's my rag go? Oh, I have a rag so I can soak up the excess here. Because what I like to do is I like to go ahead and tilt this a little bit. And I like to shoot more in. I have yet, though, to make it to where it's completely full. Yes, you can, Courtney, just put a water slide on it. And but I don't know how long the water slide would stay if you don't put something over it. Again, remember, the inside part, though, is never going to touch anybody's mouth. So, unless they're weird and they like that kind of thing. And you can, if you want to try to see, how am I doing? You can flip it over like this. And so you see, I have a lot more room in here to go ahead and add more fluid. It's kind of deceiving. And you wipe off your excess. Let's see, have you tried the sealer and has it sealed good? This is the silicone that I use. Are you talking about the silicone, Lee? I'm only using all baby oil, no water. You always go by that phrase, water and oil don't mix. And again, I tilt the cup. And you can apply as much or as little pressure as you want. And you just keep pushing it in. And I know that stuff is going in because I'm seeing more air bubbles pop up, which tells me that I'm shifting stuff around in there. Do I need more oil? Let's see. I have a laser printer, so any water slides I use, I don't have to seal. But I think if I was just going to use water slide on the metal part, I would probably still use epoxy, just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere because it's going to be 100% in liquid. Have you tried the glycerin and water mix? No, I did not try the glycerin and water mix. I tried a glycerin, 100% glycerin, and it was fine. But that cup is already gone. I've only ruined one cup. And that really wasn't even my fault, amazingly enough. So then you take it again and fill it up. You can see there's a lot of room. This is probably the hardest part of this, is just the filling it up and the filling it up. And now I have now I have a safety seal on my oil. This one I'm probably going to glitter around the top and the bottom because it's going to a girl who likes a lot of glitter and sparkle. And again, just put that in there, push it in. And keep filling it up. Whoops. Now I feel like a nurse here. And get the stuff to squirt out. Hey, my mineral oil from the pharmacy section Walmart used super cheap, like 2. I've never tried mineral oil, so let us know how it goes. When you epoxy the outside, do you cover all of it like a normal cup? So, I had said, Stacy, that I do it just like a normal cup, except when you take the cup apart, you've got this lip here. So you want to make sure that your epoxy is not all chunky, glumpy around the edge here, and it's nice and flat. So that way it'll be able to dry, because this plastic piece right here has to fit back in. And if you make your epoxy too thick, like if you are an epoxy nut, you are not going to be able to get that cup to mash back down in that rim. I have found that a good 6 ounces is what this will hold. So let me try to get a little bit more in here. See if I can get some more liquid in here. This is probably the hardest part of the cup, right here. Okay, so let's see, how big is my bubble? My bubble's not too bad. It's not the best in the world either. And give it one more squirt of stuff. I am going to glitter, yes. Oh, yeah, sorry, Stacy. I didn't understand. Yes, I will epoxy. So I'll add glitter here and glitter there, and I'll epoxy a nice thin layer over the cup. My apologies. So in that time, almost all of the oil went in. And if nothing else, you're getting your skin all worked well and pretty. Let's see. Okay. Alright, take this little guy, shove him in back here. Just going to shove it in and then push it down. And voila. So, now, when you're done with that, you're going to take your baby wipey or Lysol wipe. I just wipe it all down again. Just wipe it, clean it. And you're going to take your silicone again. And you're going to plug up this little hole right here. And you're going to want to mash it in there really good. Where's my hooked needle? Of course, I don't have anything that I'm doing here. So I like to make sure that it's in there. So I'll push it down a little bit more with my hook. And then you're going to make a little mountain. And then I just leave it like that so you can see. Then you take this guy And you're going to go ahead and put it all around the rim here. Fill it in really good. Do the sides. I coat the whole bottom because again, I don't want it to leak. Another thing to keep in mind, so you tell your customers that these are not double-walled tumblers. Sarah, you didn't miss a whole lot. These cups are really easy and pretty quick. It's just I kind of tried to do it all in stages. So then I take this after he's epoxied super well. Or not epoxied, siliconed, sorry. And you're going to mash this on here really, really good. Push it down as hard as you can. And then you set that aside and you wait another 12 to 24 hours. I always wait longer than I think I should, just because I don't want to jinx myself. And then when you're done, then this is what your finished product will look like. So if I wanted to, I could take, so I was talking about, so if I took glitter and I put it down here, it would hide this watermark a little bit more. So, and then it's got stars on it. And the stars just kind of float around and cover it. And that is how it's done. It's super easy. They're super easy. It's just a little time consuming only because of the steps. But other than that, I mean, it can be a great product line for you. No, Amy, these are not double-walled stainless. So I did a ice test on them, and it did go ahead and, you know, perspire a little bit. It didn't sweat like a cup would normally sweat, but it did go ahead and, you know, perspire some. And I don't know what that's going to do with the epoxy that's underneath it. Hopefully, if you let your epoxy cure long enough before you go to your next step, you never know. These are, it's really up to you how you want to sell them to your customers. I think they're great cups. I think they're awesome. And it's a fun little cup to go ahead and add to your product line. But if someone's going to be, you know, taking it to the lake, hot or cold, it won't have the lifespan that, you know, your other Hogg cups will have, which are amazing. So, but just make sure you know, let the customer know up front that, you know, it's an ornamental fun cup, you know, bridesmaids cups. Maybe you can get little dirty glitter chunky things and put them in there. That bridesmaids like to have at their parties. But they're great fun cups. I love it. I love my cups, and everyone who's seen one, I've not been able to keep them. What epoxy did I use, Audrey? I use the FX epoxy. Let's see. It's really easy, Sarah. You gotta fill in your epoxy, or fill in your silicone. This is the silicone I use. You gotta fill this rim in here. Of course, after you treat, sand, prep your cup, decorate it like you would a regular cup, however way you want to. Then you put in, recap real quick, you put silicone in that lip here. I put silicone around here, and I put it in together until it snaps. Remember, until it snaps, it's not going to be straight. So if it's crooked like this, it's not in there straight. And your cup will leak, and it's not going to seal right. Or your glitter won't flow as well. So just make sure you push it in, and you've got a nice even surface for all your glitter. If you use a chunky glitter, while you're prepping the cup, pat it down so that nothing sticks out. And then, I don't know what part, Sarah, you came in at, but the hole here, I fill this hole with silicone, and around these little rivets, I fill them with silicone. And then I add my baby oil to it, and then I add the top onto it. And watch the video. You want to separate this from this. So it's really easy. They're super easy, Sarah. Dirty glitter, chunky things. Yeah, I didn't want to, you know, I don't know if they make out their floating penises or something, but I'm sure bridesmaids would get a hoot at that. Kelly, I used baby oil. I didn't use glycerin. The closest, I used glycerin on one of them, and I got one of those little things from Walmart, and I had to get like 4 or 5 of them, so this was easier for the money. The closest Hobby Lobby, which also I've been told sells smaller syringes, so you don't have to make your hole bigger, it's like 45 minutes from me, 30 to 45 minutes from me, and that's just not an option for me, because like I work over here, Hobby Lobby's over there, but I live out there. So it's just too much driving for me. So Walmart had to do. Again, is anybody... Everly's watching? Hi, Everly. Hey, baby. Yes, Walmart, CVS, they have the hypodermic needles. Yes, Johnny. Awesome. Just be careful when you separate the black from the silver that you don't over twist it or pull out or ruin these little lines that are in here that help it screw back on. But again, if you seal it up, there won't be any leaking. Leakage, as my husband called it. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Yvette, do you have any questions? You've been texting me all day. Do you have any questions for me? And that's it. I'm waiting for the speakers to come in. Does anybody ordered any of the speakers from Stainless Steel Depot? I've got 2 coming, so I can't wait to go ahead and play with them and see how I'm going to decorate them. I didn't think, Kelly, that the baby oil would mix well with water. But you could probably make a really cute, if you used alcohol inks, like those old wave things that they used to make a long time ago. They're great. I've seen people, Jada, running them underwater and stuff. Is that true? You can run the whole thing underwater? Because I'm really clumsy. That would be fabulous to have something that could fall in the water and not ruin. But I've got 2 coming to me, so as soon as I got the email, I jumped on them. So 1 for me and 1 for probably one of my daughters to steal, because usually any of my really pretty cups, they tend to go ahead and steal. Oh, you were too slow, Samantha, ordering. I'm sorry. Yeah. For the storyboards, I jumped on and she restocked, and I actually was able to order several before she even sent me an email. Before Stainless Steel Depot sent me an email. So if that is not all, apparently you can water resistant says, yeah, that would be cool. If that's it, anybody has any questions, I will be signing off, and I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you for watching. And, you know, order them. There's people outside, honey. Sorry, my dog's going to go attack the neighborhood kids. They have a ball, and she seems to think that every ball should be hers and not belong to anyone else. So, okay. So, anybody has more questions, let me know. Message me or whatever. I am not the authority on this. This is just my way, how I do it. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye. Bye, Yvette.